What's going on, everyone? PJ here from Hyzer HQ. Just recorded 18 holes out here at the PGA Park in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Just going to be going over how my tournament went this past weekend when I was in Bradenton. So, yeah, I played the Team Figgins Open on Saturday and Sunday. Thought it was a really well-run tournament, a lot of fun card mates, and I even actually got Team Figgins as a vendor now on Hyzer HQ. So if you have points available in Hyzer HQ, you can redeem your points online. But overall, really can't say enough about the tournament. I really thought the courses were great compliments to each other. Overall, I thought they played super well in a tournament setting. And I think that there was a lot of good choices made as far as, which courses were chosen for which divisions, because I don't think I really encountered any major backups. We got slowed down a little bit out on Tom Bennett Park for, I don't know, just a couple holes. But that was really just because we had a slow group in front of us. I don't think anything about that was due to course choice or anything. And I think there was a lot of good scoring separation and, opportunities for different skill sets to shine on the different courses. So overall, I think it was a great tournament. If I get the chance to come down to Florida next year, I would love to play it again. I think it was a super good time. It stood up to the reputation of an A tier also. It was run very, very professionally. Tyler and his team did a great job running the event, and I really think that, I think it was their first year as an A tier, so really good to see that they ran it well. Getting into hole 3 here, I think another thing from this tournament this past weekend is that I stayed patient really well. There was a lot of times where I was just on kind of some slow stretches of, getting lots of pars and, maybe not scoring the way I wanted to, but I think I did a good job for the most part of just not panicking. I think that's something that I've always done pretty well at, but it kind of is course dependent. I think I had a little bit of a tough time on North Water Tower Park staying patient because I started on kind of the birdie or die portion of the course, but overall, I think I stayed patient well, and I got long strings of pars and I had very few bogeys overall across the course of the tournament. So I would say that that's something that I wanted to work on in this tournament, and I think it's something I've gotten better at over the years too. So that is something that I can feel pretty confident in going into the next, bulk of the season here. It was also my first tournament putting with the Pixel. I was formerly putting with the Magnet from Discraft, and now I'm on the MVP Pixel. And I was a little worried because I was still getting used to it from this off season, and I wasn't necessarily putting a ton just because of how cold it was and whatnot. So I think I was really pleased with how I did. I actually, 2 days before the tournament, literally the day before the tournament, I went and got a lighter weight Pixel just because I had been struggling with the 174 gram ones, and previously with the Magnets I was putting 170 to 172. So I went and picked up a couple 171 gram Pixels. So I was literally putting with a brand new putter the whole weekend, but I think that's the weight that I'm meant to use. So happy that there was no fall off in my putting. Really the biggest flaw in my game all weekend was just gimme up shots from 200 feet and in. I think I messed up. I think I counted somewhere between 8 and 10 of my up shots between 100 to 200 feet, because once I'm kind of out of jump putt range, or if there's a weird line where I have to flick something, those were the ones that were giving me trouble all week, which is sucks because I was, I had a really good tournament and had a chance of winning, but those are easy to fix. That doesn't take a lot of practice to change. So I think one thing I really was proud of myself on is I literally turfed my first tee shot on the first hole of the tournament, made it maybe 100 feet on an 800 foot par 4, and I saved my par and kept my cool. That was kind of another thing, just staying patient. But I had that tee off and I was like, oh no, is this how this whole tournament's gonna be? And I didn't let it get in my head, made a nice 25 footer for a par on that first hole, and that actually gave me quite a bit of confidence going into the rest of the tournament. So sometimes those are nice things to get right at the start of your play. One other thing that I was super excited about was that at Tom Bennett, which was the more open course that I played, hole 14 and 15, I had kind of said like those are just like gimmies, like no excuse not to ever get those. And I got both of them both rounds. The one was just a short little 300-foot putter shot, and then the other one was 350-foot over the water, big hyzer shot. And I pretty much played both holes exactly identical both rounds and ended up with the birdie both times. So that was super nice there. And then actually I ended up playing hole 16 through 18 1 under par across both rounds at Tom Bennett, which I was super stoked about, because those were ones where I was thinking like, well, I mean, you kind of just gotta put it on cruise control going in here. Like, you know, there's not gonna be a whole lot of birdies and it's pretty easy to mess up. And while I ended up under par, I mean, there was, I think, what did I get? 2 birdies and 1 bogey across those 6 holes, which is like really good. I was kind of thinking that like, oh, you just got to hang on here at the end, but I actually ended up playing pretty well on those final 3. So that was something I was super stoked about. Wish I could have played a little better on 18 there, but ended up with the par both times, even though I stuck the island both times. So getting into talking about Water Tower Park, actually for the second round I started on kind of the must get birdie stretch, and I just started off a little slow. I really was saving pars and scrambling well and whatnot, but I just like didn't quite start off hot right where you need to, and so that made it tough for me to have a real good round out there. I think I ended up +2 at Water Tower Park, which is not, it was not terrible. I mean, it was still like 953 rated or something, which it kept me in it, but I really had a chance. Like, you know, I survived some of the really bad holes. I just kind of messed up on a lot of the easy ones, so, and just didn't quite get hot on some of those, like, you know, shorter, like 280 to 310 distance holes. Really what killed my entire tournament though was I just kind of forgot how to play disc golf there for like 4 holes at Water Tower. I went +6 through a 4-hole stretch, which like one of them was like a really long par 3 that I wasn't even upset about a bogey. Then I got bad luck and went OB on, what is it, hole 6, I think, and then messed up an upshot, which forced me to take a 5 instead of a 4. And then I just totally shanked into infinity my zone on a really short hole. It was like 240 feet, backhand hyzer. Like, I was thinking like birdie all day. Like, I need to get a birdie. If I get a par, it's bad. And I double bogeyed it because I went OB and then messed up my upshot. Well, I mean, that was a roll away, but still ended up with a 5 there. And then the hole after that, I got a single bogey on, which was one that I was a little nervous about, and honestly would have been fine taking a bogey on, but it was just the fact that I played so rough for those 4 holes in a row and went +6. I mean, that really just killed my tournament. I think the person that won beat me in that stretch by probably 4 or 5 strokes, and that was how much he ended up beating me by in the entire tournament. So that was pretty rough, but I actually ended that horrible streak with a crazy birdie on hole 9 from Water Tower Park, which was a long tunnel shot, low ceiling with OB to the left and woods off to the right. I threw my Halo Wraith because I was just like, I need something to get some momentum here. And I put it pin high, 30 feet right of the basket, and made the birdie putt. And there was only 3 birdies on it the entire day, and those 3 were me, Kyle Klein, and Randon Lada. So that was like myself. That was like my highlight of the tournament. Probably was that right there. I mean, that just felt so cool. It was like, okay, that was like a big leagues birdie right there. For whatever reason, I feel like I always do that at a tournament. Like, whatever the easiest hole is, no chance I'm birdieing it. In this case, I double bogeyed it. and then whatever the hardest hole is, I somehow managed to birdie it. So I don't know. I don't know why that happens the way it does, but it seems like it always happens to me. But I did end up surviving the tough holes that I was worried about and got pars on both. It was 12 and 17. 17 was the really nervy one. That one, like, you could have just gotten in so much trouble on if you were bad off the tee. So ended up getting pars on those. I had great drives and just was able to pitch up to drop in a par on both of them. So yeah, super happy about that. It was just kind of the sneak attack from some of those holes I wasn't expecting. And then, yeah, over the course of the tournament, my forehand actually felt really powerful. I feel like I'm adding a little bit of distance, actually. Still kind of dialing in my angles and whatnot, but and kind of figuring things out for anything standstill and approaches. But some of my drives with my forehand, like, I was hitting my lines really well and actually being able to get a little further than I was used to. So super happy about that. It's been a long process with the forehand. I mean, my forehand is basically like a year and a half younger than the rest of my disc golf game, because pretty much for the first entire year and a half I played, I didn't throw a single forehand. So happy about that. But my final score ended up being +1 and ended up solo second, I think 5 strokes behind first place. So I think I actually got the help that I would have needed to win. Like, the guy that won didn't have a great final round, but I just didn't start off fast enough. I needed some birdies early. I had a really good streak of birdies late and a clutch par save on hole 18 after going OB. But I don't know, I didn't quite get off to a hot start, so he was just so comfortable that final round. Even though he wasn't playing his best, there was nobody really pushing on him, except for someone from the chase card. But yeah, I don't know. Ratings ended up pretty good. 959, which is 9 above my rating over the course of 3 rounds. So that was probably about what I expected those rounds to be, maybe a little higher. I think the ratings in Florida seem to be a little bit higher than ratings in Minnesota, but I don't know. I think that's a great baseline. I mean, considering how many just dumb things I messed up on, very fixable upshots and shorter putts, I am super stoked that that's my kind of baseline for the year. My drives were amazing, honestly. Like, off the tee, I was doing so good for the most part. Like, I had a couple errant shots, but like, for the most part, off the tee, I played so well. So if I can just keep that dialed in and then fix just some of this little easy stuff, I mean, this should be a really good year for me, especially with how the putter was feeling at this tournament. So overall, I mean, super stoked about that, and really can't complain at all about the weekend. Next up, we've got the Palm Beach Classic, which is in Delray Beach, Florida. So now I'm over on the Atlantic side of things, about an hour and a half probably north of Miami, and feeling excited about that. I'll get a video out on, at least one video out on that course. It'll be 3 rounds, 2 rounds on Saturday and 1 round on Sunday, similar to this one, but this time it'll all be on one course. So that's always been an interesting format for me. I tend to like switching courses back and forth, just because then I'm not thinking about like, oh, I need to replicate what I did last round, or I need to fix what I did last round. I'm just, I don't necessarily have anything in my brain about what's next and what has happened in the past. But I think this course suits my game well. It's going to be a nice little reprieve from basically throwing my arm out at Tom Bennett all of last weekend. This course is about half wooded, half open, and most of the open shots aren't really all that far. They're just kind of like placement, and then it's all like shorter par 4s for the most part. It's just kind of placement off the tee and then execute an upshot, make sure you don't go out of bounds. It's not quite like Tom Bennett where you throwing driver pretty hard off a lot of the holes and things like that. So super excited about this weekend's tournament, but overall loved being over in Bradenton and Sarasota. Can't say enough about that community over there. Had a lot of fun and hope to be able to play next year. make sure to go check out HeiserHQ.com. We got a new vendor onboarded, Team Figgins. We've got 2 potential other ones that I met down in Florida, so go make sure to try them out as well. And yeah, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube, as well as follow on other social media, TikTok, Instagram at HeiserHQ. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.